Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising, here's your tarot reading for the week ahead. A big welcome back if you're coming to the channel again, and a big warm welcome if this is your first time. These are weekly Tarotscopes helping you navigate the week ahead based on your star signs, and I do this for Sun, Moon and Rising, as I mentioned at the beginning. If you're not sure of your rising sign and moon signs, then you can check the pinned comment below on how to do that, and you can also sign up to the emails so that you never miss a reading again. But as ever, take what's helpful, leave what isn't. These are just ideas and insights on how to best navigate the week ahead. Good news, Aquarius, is on the whole, this is one of the better readings that I have seen. Bit of a funny week for most star signs, a bit of a challenging week. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be trouble-free, but certainly not as acute as the others may be feeling it. I'm going to start with the good news. And again, that doesn't mean that the bad news is terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but we've got these lovely energies with the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. The pages, to me, because they are the start of the royal suits of the Page, Knight, Queen and King. Yes, in some respects, they're quite undeveloped. They're not as necessarily mature or expansive or as accomplished as the Kings might represent. But the upshot of the pages is that they are imbued with an enthusiasm and an excitement and a wonderment and a wide-eyed wonderment with the suit that they represent. Therefore, it's a great time this week to really get excited by things and try new things and step outside of your comfort zone. And particularly as we have the Five of Wands in reverse here too, and I always see the Five of Wands almost like little pages. There's definitely these younger characters here, so it's almost like we've got these 5 pages all kind of vying for the win, so to speak. And that in combination with these 2 pages is just talking about really getting out of your head, just being experimental and silly and playful. And there's a day that I had in my studio and I just experimented with watercolor and I was just painting and drawing, and I just had such a brilliant day because of it, because it was out of my normal routine. It was something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it was just playful. I was just doing it for the sheer enjoyment of it. Life can become so serious, and that's a collective theme at the moment this week of the energies may not necessarily heavy, but there is certainly some anxieties, there's certainly some worries kind of in the ether at the moment, both on a global scale and on a personal scale. And for many of the star signs, there hasn't been such a clear route out of that. But for you, Aquarius, it's almost like you're just kind of pretending that nothing's wrong, and I don't mind that. For many of the other star signs, there's been real propensity towards avoidance and distraction and willful ignorance, which hasn't actually been useful. It's been yeah, it's kind of delaying the inevitable, or kind of turning a blind eye to those things that need to be dealt with. But here it's like I'm almost encouraging you just to stick your fingers in your ears and go la 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 whatever. And I actually don't mind that. But what would be the best use of that energy is definitely just kind of really throw yourself into something that you've either wanted to do for a while, or something that really is just playful and buoyant and light-hearted, and in some ways that could be creative or whatever it may be, because the Page of Wands is excitement, enthusiasm and being quite driven, and the Page of Pentacles is sometimes the card of study or the card of trying new things. So that's the good news. The bad news is, as I mentioned before, only slight. It's nothing. You don't have to stop the video here by any means. But we have the World card in reversed opening your reading. So the World card in reversed, usually upright, it talks about accomplishment, wrapping things up. It's the final card of the major arcana. It's feeling on top of the world in some ways. The fact that it's reversed indicates more the sense of this frustration. What the image that comes to mind is almost like you've got two ends of a cable and you can't quite seem to get them to plug into one another no matter how hard you try, and that could get a bit frustrating. So there's a message here of don't flog a dead horse this week. Don't just keep trying to make something work that doesn't seem to want to slot into place. Doesn't mean you have to abandon it by any means. It doesn't mean that you have to kind of kick it to the curb. I feel that that's probably not useful, but I would say that this week represents more of a hiatus. Personally speaking, I find those times that I go away and just distract myself and then come back to it, it just like click. Oh, that was so easy. Why did it kind of take me so long? So those things that you're feeling quite frustrated by at the moment, maybe there's just a call to just put them down. If opportunity allows, just put them down and go and do something that is much more spontaneous and fun. We can feel like very responsible adults at times. We feel as though, no, I must do that, and the very last thing on the list can be play. I can only play once I've cleaned the house, done the dishes, ticked, crossed every T, dotted every I, then I can make space for this spontaneity and play. And why is that? Why does it need to always be the end of the list? Maybe we can make it the top priority this week. Your final card is the Seven of Swords, the Lord of Unstable Effort. In some ways, I would say that this is expressing and reaffirming what those energies of playfulness and silliness and not taking life too seriously. But there is a slight kind of quote unquote warning as well. Just make sure that you're not it's almost contradictory. That's why I have a slight reticence about saying this, but it's also not getting kind of too distracted. I suppose this is emphasizing of, well, if we want to play and we want to be experimental and creative and enjoyment and on all of those things and lighthearted, we need to kind of do that with intention rather than this slight hedonism or this again, not slipping into this willful distraction or procrastination, or make that pulling away constructive rather than destructive. I feel that is in part what the Seven of Swords is keeping it, and also just a little bit of a reminder of not to keep your eye off the ball entirely, even if you may want to go and do something else. Doesn't mean that you're just going, I'm done with that, I'm bored with that, I'm just going to do this instead. So it's a hiatus, not a break. As I mentioned, be sure to check out your sun, moon and rising. That can be really helpful for a more rounded reading. But until next week, I shall see you then. Bye for now.